Saying goodbye to a beloved cat is one of the hardest things we ever face as pet owners. In this video, I'll share the signs that can help you recognize when your cat needs you the most, and how to give them the care and love they deserve in their final days. But before that, I'd like to share my personal experience with the final days of my two beloved cats. Afterward, we'll dive straight into the top 10 signs to look out for. One was my beloved pet, and the other was a rescued ginger boy who stayed with me for just 3 short days. Sharing these stories will help you understand what I wish I had known at the time. Knowledge that could have helped these cats. My hope is that it will empower you to care for your own feline companion in the best way possible. As I recount these experiences, my heart still aches, especially when I think of my dearest female ginger cat, Mono. I lost her in the winter of 2023 after her spaying surgery. She was a healthy and vibrant cat, but after the procedure, she wouldn't stop licking her stitches and refused to wear an e-collar. I did everything I could to ensure her incisions healed properly, even sewing her a soft donut collar and later a full dress for protection. But no matter what I tried, she always managed to remove them. In the end, I sent her to the vet for boarding and intensive care, hoping it would give her the best chance at recovery. While under their care, she stopped licking her stitches and seemed to be doing well. She spent those last 2 days comfortably resting in a cozy nest bed at the clinic and even ate her meals without issue. However, on the day she passed, she suddenly began vomiting, and despite the vet's efforts, they couldn't save her. The clinic sent me a video showing her condition as they prepared to administer intravenous treatment, but she was already taking her final breaths. When I was informed of her passing, I rushed to the clinic and found her lying there, lifeless. Though heartbroken beyond words, I found some solace knowing she spent her last 2 days in comfort, surrounded by care and attention. She played there. She had a hearty meal last evening and slept well in bed. It happened only in the morning that she died in a few hours. The vet showed me that her stitches were also healing very well. I still love her and wish to keep loving her forever. But I kept wondering why I didn't have any sign that she was going to leave me. However, this wasn't the case with another ginger male cat who came to hide in my garage in his last days. Maybe he was 3 or 4 years old. I would name him Goldie. I found him hiding in my garage, motionless and starving. When I offered him food, the poor boy was too weak to eat. I immediately took him to the vet, where a thorough examination revealed something heartbreaking. He had a broken paw and broken teeth, likely the result of a fight. Because of his injuries, Goldie had been unable to move or eat, leaving him severely malnourished and weak for weeks. The vet started him on IV treatment, but his body temperature had already dropped dangerously low. The day before he passed, there was a glimmer of hope. He showed small signs of recovery. He sat up and shifted his position. I was so hopeful that he might pull through. But the very next day, when I took him back to the vet, he passed away just a few hours later. The difference between losing my dear cat Mono and this poor boy Goldie, I knew his time was near. I gave him all the love I could in those final moments. I'll never forget the faint, fragile meow in his chest each time I gently comforted him. Even though he was a feral cat, unfamiliar with human touch, I could feel that he understood and felt the care I was giving him. This is why it's so important for every cat parent to recognize the signs of a terminally ill cat. Knowing these signs allows you to give them the love and care they deserve in their final moments. It not only helps your cat feel safe and comforted, but also ensures their farewell is as peaceful as possible for both of you. With that in mind, let's take a closer look at the signs to watch for. 1. Loss of interest in food. When a cat begins to refuse food or water, it's often the first sign that their body is signaling something serious, whether it's illness, pain, or even their final goodbye. Refusing food is often a sign of physical decline, even if no other symptoms are visible. As a pet parent, it's crucial to take food refusal seriously, regardless of whether your cat has appeared healthy up to that point. A good way to confirm this behavior is by offering their favorite food or a creamy treat. If they show no interest, it's a clear indication that something is wrong. They're silently crying for help. For example, a friend of mine shared how their beloved cat, Charlie, who used to devour her favorite treats with excitement, began walking away from even fresh fish. Watching her lose interest in what she once loved was heartbreaking. I experienced this myself with the ginger boy, GOLDY. Despite being severely malnourished from weeks of starvation, he couldn't eat anything during his final days, not because he wasn't hungry, but because his body no longer needed food. All he needed in those moments was love, and I stayed by his side, gently comforting him as he prepared to leave this world. 2. Profound weakness and weight loss. Cats are experts at hiding pain, often masking their suffering until it's too late. One of the clearest signs of serious illness is a combination of unexplained weakness and weight loss. Unlike sudden changes caused by acute conditions like diarrhea, this type of weight loss and lethargy develops gradually. If your cat has been eating less for weeks, they may appear frail or weak. The most concerning sign is extreme lethargy. They may sleep constantly, avoid moving, or even struggle to blink their eyes. This extreme lethargy can sometimes result from dehydration or neurological issues. I saw this with GOLDY in his final days. He became so weak that even small movements seemed like an enormous effort. If your cat is experiencing this, my advice is to let them rest as much as they need. They may just be spending their final hours or days in peace. Consult your vet about how to maximize their comfort, but don't push them too hard. Sometimes all they need is love, warmth, and the dignity of resting in their final moments. 3. They look uncleaned. Cats take pride in keeping their coats pristine. So, when you see a dull coat, it's a major red flag. When a cat stops grooming, it's often because they're weak or sick. A lack of nutrients and dehydration can leave their coat looking dull and unkempt. When the body is sick, it also loses its ability to produce oils that keep your cat's coat healthy. Alternatively, when a cat is sick, their body uses up all its energy and nutrients trying to heal the affected organs, leaving little for anything else. Take the example of the ginger rescued cat, GOLDY, who also had one of the dullest coats ever. Over his ribs, the coat resembled some unwashed, overly dry, knotty blanket, as if picked from some roadside. Besides such a dull appearance, it was smelly as it had no lick bath from GOLDY. I just wiped his fur gently, knowing he couldn't manage on his own. This small act of care became my way of saying, I'm still here for you. Honestly, he was at the stage of his life when medicines didn't work at all. 4. They retreat to darkness and alter their behavior. Cats are creatures of habit, known for their strict routines and predictable behaviors. So, when your cat suddenly changes course, be it in their routine, vocalization, or demeanor, it's often an early sign that something is wrong. These shifts indicate that their body may be struggling, and they're crying out for help in their own subtle way. One of the most telling changes is when a cat starts hiding, especially in dark, confined spaces like under furniture or in closets. This behavior is often a sign that they feel unsafe or vulnerable. If there's nothing in their surroundings that could be upsetting them, it's likely that something is wrong inside, and they're trying to tell you in their own way. Think of it as similar to when we feel unwell and retreat to bed, avoiding social interaction. If you notice your cat withdrawing into dark corners, pay close attention. While hiding on its own isn't always cause for alarm, It's often accompanied by other signs of illness. Detecting these behaviors early could save your cat's life. I experienced this firsthand with my male ginger kitten, Tiny. At just 3 months old, he started hiding under the bed for no apparent reason. Though he seemed otherwise fine, I trusted my instinct and took him to the vet. It turned out he had a throat infection that led to a fever and eventually eye conjunctivitis. Thankfully, his life was saved with prompt treatment, though the conjunctivitis later developed into a cataract. Now, at 7 months old, he's a happy, thriving kitten and will soon undergo surgery to have his affected eye removed. Knowing that catching his hiding behavior early saved his life gives me immense comfort. Always pay attention to these small calls for help. They might be the key to saving your cat too. 5. They feel colder than usual. When a cat's body begins to shut down, their temperature may drop because they can no longer regulate it. I didn't know this at first, but I learned it through experience. The night before Goldie passed away, I noticed he felt colder than usual. I wrapped him in a warm blanket, hoping it would help, but his body couldn't hold on to the warmth anymore. It had lost the ability to retain heat. If your cat is seriously ill, it may be hard to detect this temperature drop at first. Subtle changes might show up in their extremities, like their ears, paws, or tail, which may feel cooler to the touch. Try to catch this sign early, as it can give you more time to help them or just hold them close. If your cat is unwell, consider checking their temperature with a thermometer to catch any concerning changes early. Detecting this in time might give you the opportunity to save their life. And even if it doesn't, you'll have the chance to hold them close, share your warmth, and let them feel your love in those precious final moments. 6. They develop an unpleasant odor. A noticeable change in your cat's body odor can be an alarming sign of organ failure, particularly in the kidneys or liver. As toxins build up in the body, they can create a faint but distinct smell that wasn't there before. I noticed this with the ginger boy, Goldie. As he neared the end of his life, a subtle yet unmistakable odor lingered on his fur. It's a difficult reality to face, as the scent can resemble decay, a heartbreaking reminder of what's happening internally. To comfort him, I gently wiped his fur with a damp cloth, trying to freshen him up while preserving his dignity. Despite the odor, his faint, soft meows told me he felt cared for and reassured by my presence. These moments, though bittersweet, brought a sense of connection and comfort. Small acts of care like this can make the painful goodbye feel a little less lonely for both you and your cat. 7. They struggle to breathe. One of the most distressing signs of a severe illness in cats is difficulty breathing. It's heartbreaking to witness, and even now, it's hard for me to talk about. My beloved cat, Mono, who passed away after her spaying surgery, struggled to breathe in her final moments. After heavy vomiting, she gasped desperately for air, her mouth open as she tried to fill her lungs. In those last moments, there was nothing anyone could do to save her. That said, not every case is so sudden. Some cats may experience breathing difficulties over several days due to conditions like lung infections or fluid buildup, edema. If you see your cat struggling to breathe, especially if they're stretching their neck forward or breathing through their mouth, take them to the vet immediately. If, however, you already know your cat is nearing the end of their life, the best thing you can do is stay by their side. Pet them gently, speak softly, and reassure them with your presence. Even when nothing else can be done, your love and comfort can make their final moments a little less frightening. 8. They lose control of their bladder or bowels. When a cat becomes seriously ill, their weakness affects not just their movement, but also their internal organs. Even the cleanest cats, who instinctively use their litter box, may lose control over their bladder or bowels as their condition worsens. I remember this happening with Goldie. When I brought him home from the vet one day, I noticed his smell wasn't just coming from the wound on his paw. Upon closer inspection, I found his tail was matted with dried feces. He had been too weak to make it to the proper place to relieve himself. I gently cleaned him with a wet cloth until he was fresh and comfortable again. If you notice this happening with your own cat, I know you'll naturally step in to help. You'll give them a clean, soft bed, clean them thoroughly, and treat them with love and dignity. In these moments, small acts of care can mean everything. Letting your cat know that they're still cherished, no matter what. 9. They appear confused and disoriented. When a cat is nearing the end of their life, they may begin to seem confused or disoriented. This isn't just a sign of illness, it's often a sign that they're preparing to leave. This can be one of the most heartbreaking things to witness, as it feels like the cat you know so well is suddenly unfamiliar, as if they no longer belong to you. You might notice them staring blankly into space, seeming unaware of their surroundings, or responding sluggishly to their name. If they're slightly active, they may engage in repetitive, seemingly purposeless behaviors, almost as if they're anxiously rushing towards something unseen. What causes this? When a cat's organs start to fail, harmful toxins build up in their body. This can affect their brain, leaving them confused and disoriented. I experienced this with Goldie during his final days. He seemed lost, staring into the distance, unsure of where to lie or how to rest his head. I gently guided him, helping him find a comfortable position and letting him know I was there for him. Though these moments are painful, it's important to stay calm and accept the truth of what's happening. Be there for your cat, pet them softly, speak to them, and hold them if they seem comforted by it. These quiet acts of love can help make their final moments as soothing as possible for both of you. 10. Twitching or seizures. One of the most heartbreaking signs of a cat's final moments is muscle twitching or seizures. While many cats, especially those who are extremely weak or euthanized, may pass away peacefully, others with a bit more remaining energy can experience involuntary twitches or spasms. These signs often appear alongside or following their struggle to breathe in their final stages. At this point, there is nothing you can do to stop it. But if you've been giving your cat the best care and love, take comfort in knowing that you've done everything you could. In these moments, peace can come not only to your beloved cat, but also to you, as you've been there for them until the very end. In her final moments, Mono's body was restless, her golden orange fur trembling as she took her last breaths. It's a moment I'll never forget, a grief that's impossible to put into words. Even now, with 4 ginger male kittens and 2 white female cats bringing joy to my life, I can't stop missing Mono. No amount of time will ever wash away that loss. But what I do carry forward is the knowledge that I loved her with everything I had, and that she knew it. These were some of the signs you might notice in your beloved feline as they approach the end of their life. Some of these signs may appear early in their illness, giving you a chance to intervene and potentially save them, while others may show up in their final days or hours. Your love, care, and presence mean everything to your cat. Whether you're holding them close now or cherishing their memory, know that the bond you share is forever. If you found this video helpful, please give it a thumbs up and consider subscribing. Thank you for being the loving, devoted pet parent your cat needs. The love you've shared with them is a bond that lasts forever.